This devastating love story will haunt you forever. You've never seen anything like it. The wind howled like a wounded beast as shadows danced on crumbling gravestones, whispering secrets that should have remained buried. In the heart of that forgotten cemetery, love was alive, but it was twisted, dark, and dangerously seductive. It all started with a note, an unsent confession that revealed a forbidden passion. The paper, yellowed and fragile, bore the name Lila in a trembling hand, but what followed was a story drenched in tears and regrets. The townsfolk spoke in hushed tones, eyes wide with fear as they recounted the tale. Lila had been the brightest light, a beacon of joy, forever chased by a storm that only she could see. Her laughter rang like silver bells, but beneath it was a chilling echo of sorrow. It was said she could predict the rain with a glance at the sky. Others wondered if she was somehow cursed, for every lover she touched seemed to vanish, leaving behind only quiet whispers and trembling hands. As the evidence unfolded, a fierce storm brewed overhead. Thunder rumbled ominously, shaking the very foundation of the earth. Desperate townsfolk dared not approach the old oak tree, its gnarled branches tangled like fingers reaching out for help. It was beneath this very tree that Lila's last lover was discovered, his eyes wide with terror, heart trapped in a vice of fear. They said he saw something chilling, something that morning light could never reveal. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The storm cracked the silence as every heart in town seemed to pause. Lila's eyes sparkled with a secret known only to her, and the townsfolk felt a magnetic pull toward the tree. They dared not imagine what it was like to confront the truth, yet they couldn't turn away. With each flash of lightning, it became clearer Lila was at the center of the storm, weaving between the veil of life and death. An unsettling thought crept through the crowd like a sin. Was Lila the harbinger of their worst fears, or the tragic heroine of a love story never told? With each clap of thunder, the question echoed louder. What lay beneath the branches of that cursed oak? What dark secrets did Lila hide, and would the town discover how deeply love can wound? The wind carried a sharp chill, wrapping around the townsfolk like an icy shroud as they stood frozen in time. Eyes darted nervously, and whispers tangled in the air, thick with anticipation and dread. They instinctively leaned closer, drawn by a force they struggled to define. Lila's laughter, a melody they once cherished, now echoed in their minds as an omen. Someone has to go check, a voice broke through the tension, shaky but defiant. It was Clara, the brave girl with soft curls that danced like flames in the wind. The crowd collectively gasped, fear pooling in their stomachs. No one wanted to be the first to approach the oak, to peek beneath its twisted branches where love had become a ghost. Maybe we should just leave it be, whispered Harold, his face pale. Maybe it's better not to know. But curiosity had already taken root, and it was growing fast. Clara stepped forward, against the storm's howling protest, and her heart thundered in her chest. Each step was heavy, laden with all the town's fears. The air thickened around her, alive with energy. She could feel Lila's presence, a warmth trapped amidst the biting cold. The oak towered above, something ancient and ominous, its bark gnarled and scarred like the hearts of those who had loved and lost. With trembling hands, Clara reached out, her fingertips brushing against the rough surface. She felt the energy surge, a vivid rush that both terrified and electrified her. Above her, lightning struck, a blinding flash illuminating the cemetery for a breathless moment, revealing shadows that danced like lost souls. Clara! A voice yelled from behind, but she was already committed. The shadows around her began to swirl, elongating into shapes that lurked just out of sight. Unseen eyes bore down on her, filled not with malice, but with longing. In that instant, Clara knew something crucial. Layla was not just a victim of heartbreak, she was a keeper of secrets. Was she protecting something? Or was she bound by chains unseen, cursed by the love that faded too soon? The wind howled like a siren, demanding answers. "What do you want?" Clara voiced the question hungering in her chest. But before her courage could yield an answer, a whisper drifted in the wind. The name, Jonah, slipped from her lips. Jonah. Clara remembered him vividly, Lila's last lover, whose disappearance had sent tremors through town. She peered closer at the base of the tree where the earth was darker, damp from rain. The twisted roots seemed to clutch at the ground desperately, as if trying to bury something precious. Suddenly, the air shifted. The storm seemed to pause, the howling wind holding its breath. The whispers grew louder, swelling into a cacophony, echoing truths that had long been buried. Clara felt her heart race, an unfamiliar weight settling heavily in her stomach. What if Jonah didn't just vanish? What if Lila had been drawn into that darkness, unable to free herself? The storm erupted, drowning out Clara's thoughts. A crack of thunder sent shards of fear rippling through the crowd. Then, the earth below her quaked, revealing a small chest half buried in the soil. Trepidation gripped her. Would she dare to uncover the buried memories, those secrets long shrouded in whispers? As she knelt down, heart pounding with raw urgency, the crowd gasped in unison, anticipatory dread hanging thick in the air. What would she find? Hope or horror? Just as her fingers touched the cold metal, a hand shot out from the darkness, the familiar warmth locking around her wrist. "Don't touch that." A voice thundered, urgency in every syllable. Clara's breath caught in her throat. What had she unearthed, and who was it that dared to warn her? Time hung suspended, the storm pressing closer still. Clara turned to face the voice, her heart racing wildly. The figure looming behind her was cloaked in shadows, features obscured by the swirling storm. But there was no mistaking the desperation etched in the tone. "Let go of me." "Who are you?" Clara demanded, her words cutting through the chaos like clockwork. I'm Jonah's sister," the voice faltered, revealing a spark of strength beneath the veil of fear. A flash of lightning illuminated the face, a striking resemblance to Lila, but laced with sadness. "Please, you don't know what you're getting into." The crowd behind Clara buzzed with confusion and uncertainty. A flicker of recognition rippled through the audience. Jonah's sister? Distant whispers circulated, old tales kindling fresh fears. But Clara felt a strange pull, an urgent need to connect the dots of the eerie puzzle forming before her. "Lila? She's here?" Clara felt a pit in her stomach, mixing dread with a flicker of hope. "No. That's what I'm trying to warn you about." Jonah's sister stepped forward, releasing Clara's wrist while grasping her arm instead. "Lila is gone. But she's south tied to this place, tied to Jonah. You mustn't disturb it." Yet the urge to delve deeper churned within Clara. The chest seemed to call her, a siren song that promised answers, a resolution to the aching void left by both Lila and Jonah. She couldn't understand why Jonah's sister appeared afraid of the very thing that seemed crucial to finding closure. "Why? What's in there?" Clara pressed. The howling wind suddenly paused, every breath of the crowd catching like a held secret. A somber silence blanketed the moment, charged with countless unspoken stories. Jonah's sister hesitated, her eyes drifting to the chest and then to the oak, as if wrestling with tearing the fabric of a silenced past. Lila thought she could protect Jonah. She believed love was enough to shield him from this darkness that follows. "Then we need to know," Clara said, desperation sharpening her words. "Maybe there's a way to free her. Or bring him back." With a steely gaze, Jonah's sister shook her head. "Not everything can be set right. Some love stories end in tragedy, and digging them up only brings more pain." But her resolve teetered under the weight of Clara's certainty. A creeping fear tangled with a stubborn flicker of determination in Clara's chest, wrapping around hope like a vine encircling itself around iron. Please, Clara, step away, Jonah's sister urged, desperation cracking her voice. Trust me. The storms are just beginning. You've no idea what you're about to unleash. The storm roared back to life in defiance, a low rumble that spiraled through the ground and echoed in Clara's bones. Shadows danced, stretching longer, waiting. A chill gripped her, releasing all manner of unshed tears for Lila, for Jonah and whatever was trapped beneath that chest. Just one more moment, Clara whispered breathlessly, her trembling fingers hovering over the latch. Just one more moment to know. Before she could complete the thought, the chest jolted violently, rattling against the debris. The wind howled, not as a warning but as an invitation. Lightning struck dangerously close, and Clara realized there was no more time for hesitation. And as she lifted the lid, a surge of energy erupted from the ground, pouring forth like a tide unraveling the very seams of reality. As the echoes of a lost love began to rise to the surface, Clara's heart raced. What awaited her inside that chest could shift the balance of life and death itself or drag her deeper into the cyclone of love's darkness. Clara! Jonah's sister screamed, reaching for her, but the storm raged, and Clara's fingers finally slipped inside, unaware of the abomination that lay in wait, an unspeakable truth eager to break free, threatening to tear apart their world. What would it unleash? Would love remain a ghost, or would the past rise up, ready to take its toll? The storm crashed down, waiting, as Clara prepared to uncover the unthinkable. As the lid of the chest lifted, a pulse of energy surged upward, swirling around Clara like a tempest. Her eyes widened as ancient memories coalesced before her, luminous fragments of a past long buried. She gasped as spectral images flickered into view, a loving embrace, whispers of promises exchanged under a starlit sky, laughter intermingled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers. It all felt familiar yet haunting then, as quickly as the warmth enveloped her, a biting cold swept through, each memory shattering around her like glass underfoot. Dark shadows emerged, lurking in corners, oozing from the chest like murky ink spilling into water. The crowd shrieked, scattering away from the burgeoning chaos. Jonah's sister stumbled backward, her eyes wide with horror. No. You must close it. It's too late. She yelled, but her voice was swallowed by the chaos unleashed by Clara's curiosity. Clara stood paralyzed, battling the swirling tide of emotions flooding her senses. In that instant, she felt Lila's presence strong yet fragmented. Was the echo of her love or a warning? She couldn't tell. Panic nestled deep within her, gnawing at her heart as the malevolent whispers began to entwine with the wind, growing louder, more insistent. Lila. Jonah. Clara cried out, but the names echoed back to her, distorted and taunting. For every syllable that passed her lips, it felt like hope spiraled further away, swallowed by the maelstrom. In that blinding moment, a figure materialized from the shadows, its outline flickering like a faulty light. It was Jonah, or what was left of him, his face twisted in anguish, eyes dark with grief and regret. Clara's heart dropped as she noted the chains bound around his wrists, his form flickering in and out of reality as if he were caught between worlds. Clara! He shouted, his voice shaking but filled with desperation. You need to listen. You've opened a door that should have remained closed. Alarms blared in her mind, but she found herself irresistibly drawn to him. Jonah, I can help you. She faltered. They were so close. She could almost reach out and touch him, to bring him back from whatever fate had seized him. But was it too late? A disturbing thought clawed at her. What if this wasn't truly him? Don't. You don't understand what I've become. His words darkened, warning laced within his fraying voice. Lila, she is tied to this place. Neither of us can escape if you keep this open. Clara's breath hitched as the shadows writhed, growing bolder and more alive. The wind shrieked, echoing the anguished cries of those lost to the darkness. A looming presence began to materialize behind Jonah, a grotesque shadow that seemed to pulse with rage. The air thickened with dread, wrapping around Clara like a vice. Close it! Jonah screamed, the desperation in his voice tearing at her heart. Please. For Lila's sake, close it before it consumes all of us. But the storm was a howling beast, the wind swirling faster, uprooting trees and scattering debris. Clara's fingers trembled near the chest, uncertain. She was caught in a current of collector beads, the past of both lovers entwined with her fate. Could she walk away with this knowledge, or would it drag her down into darkness alongside them? What will you choose, Clara? The shadow seemed to whisper, a voice that echoed inside her mind. The ground trembled beneath her, and Clara stood at the crossroads of choices. Freedom or bondage? Light or darkness? With one last glance at Jonah, his face contorted in pain, she felt the weight of the world pressing down on her. She took a deep breath, heart racing, torn between the memories she yearned for and the escape she desperately needed. As Clara made her choice, the shadows surged forward, ready to pounce on anything unguarded. What awaited her on the other side? Would she truly be able to close the door without sacrificing those she loved? Fate balanced on a knife's edge. Clara's heart raced, each beat a staccato warning against the darkness encroaching around her. She stood at the chest, caught between Jonah's desperate pleas and the chaos boiling around her. Shadows stretched like fingers eager to grasp at her, to pull her into their inky depths. The cold bite of loss stung her skin. Clara. Jonah's voice pierced through the noise, trembling with urgency. You have to close it now. Remember what I told you about the past, the danger it holds. The flickering figure of Jonah strained against the chains that bound him. His anguish twisted like a knife in her gut. Every instinct urged her to reach out and help him, but a deeper understanding of the threat lingered on the edge of her awareness. Close it, or this curse will claim us all. The shadows howled in a cacophony of rage, merging into a single entity that pulsated with malicious energy. Clara felt her pulse quicken, her breathing becoming shallow. Fight or flee, what did it matter if either option led to destruction? Memories of Lila filled her mind, joy intermingled with tragedy, laughter haunting every corner of her heart. With a trembling hand, Clara approached the chest. The shadows writhed at her feet, snaking up toward her in an attempt to halt her decision. Panic bubbled within her as memories of Lila's laughter twisted into cries for help. You need to let me go, Clara. It's the only way. Lila's voice echoed as if carried on the malign winds. No. Clara shouted, shaking her head. I want to let you go. Not like this. Clara, you don't understand. Jonah's voice cracked, the weight of despair anchoring every word. Those are not just memories. They are remnants of pain and suffering. Lila is trapped here just like me. You have to believe that we will be free if you seal this door. Clara's breath hitched, mixing fear with frustration. Freedom? How could she free the ones she loved without also condemning them? The overwhelming pull of their voices clawed at her heart, drawing her closer to a decision that loomed like a storm cloud. Let it go. End this misery. Whispered the shadow, its presence swelling as if it were fed by Clara's uncertainty. She was losing herself in the chaos. The air crackled around her, and time seemed to stretch. Clara realized with horror that the shadows were not just a dark force, they were the agony of their pasts, collecting with every moment she hesitated. With one deep breath, she reached for the lid. Fingers trembling, she prepared to close it, but the darkness surged forward, swallowing her intentions in a vortex of despair. A gut-wrenching scream erupted from Jonah, the sound moving through her like an electric shock. Clara. This isn't just about me. It's about Lila. Don't touch it. Yelled Jonah's sister, panic-stricken, pushing through the crowd. But it was too late. Clara had made her choice, her heart leading her as she slammed the lid shut. The cacophony became deafening, waves of visceral energy crashing over her, waves of regret mixed with fleeting hope. The shadows shrieked, recoiling as if struck. She stepped back, breathing heavily, expecting light to flood the darkness away. Instead, a pulsing void enveloped the chest. Jonah. Lila. Are you okay? Clara screamed, expecting to see them freed from their bonds. But an oppressive silence followed, the storm beginning to recede. The shadows twisted ominously beneath the chest, revealing something she hadn't anticipated. From the darkness, a low growl echoed. A creature born from anguish emerged, its eyes glowing with raw hunger. Clara's stomach dropped as realization hit her like a sledgehammer. What had she really unleashed? The figure lunged toward her, and instinct kicked in. In the depths of her terror, Clara realized the battle was far from over. She had sealed the past, but had she opened a new horror? With dread pooling in her gut, she looked to the dark shape, heart racing. What lurked in the aftermath of her choice? Fear and a new urgency pushed her forward, the real fight just beginning. Clara's eyes widened as the creature lunged, its shape twisting through the shadows like a living nightmare. Every instinct screamed at her to run, but her feet remained rooted to the ground. Time warped around her, each second stretching into eternity as the growl echoed, a sound woven from the threads of despair. The creature's ghastly form flickered in and out of focus, a grotesque combination of human and monster. Its eyes glinted with a haunting hunger, each glimmer reminding Clara of the memories she had sealed away. It was as if those memories writhed in agony, combining their pain into this wretched beast. Clara. Move. Jonah's voice broke through the haze, urgent and filled with fear. She caught a glimpse of him struggling against the chains, his powerlessness a mirror of her own. Heart racing, she finally broke free from her paralysis. She sprinted to the nearest side, the chill of the shadows flowing past her like icy breath. Behind her, the creature roared, an unholy sound that sent chills rippling down her spine. The air trembled as it slashed through the darkness, its claws leaving trails of despair in their wake. Clara. You need to confront it. It's a piece of your choice, of us. Jonah shouted, his voice breaking through her panic. He was right, this creature wasn't just born from the past, it thrived on her fear. Gathering her courage, Clara turned to face the beast. I won't let you take them. She cried, her voice a sword against the crushing darkness. The creature paused, tilting its head as if pondering her defiance. It took a hesitant step forward, and that singular movement filled the air with the weight of 1,000 regrets. Release them. Clara shouted, summoning every ounce of strength within her. They're not bound to you. Lila. Jonah. Fight back. Every instinct in her screamed to flee, but she pushed against it. She remembered their laughter, the moments of joy. They existed beyond the shadows. With each passing second, that certainty ignited a fire in her heart. With a primal scream, Clara charged forward, arms outstretched. You have no power here. The shadowy figure recoiled slightly, its shoulders twitching as if her words struck it. Suddenly, the chest trembled, a light emanating from the seams. Clara's heart raced as hope danced in the air around her like fireflies. Together. You're still with me. Her voice rang with conviction. In response to her rallying cry, Jonah's chains rattled, and Lila's laughter echoed in the depths of her mind. Clara felt warmth wash over her as light spiraled from the chest, illuminating the room. The creature hissed, darkness chipping away under the force of its illumination, yet it lunged again, more furious this time. Fight it! Clara yelled, clenching her fists, channeling her will into the light. Memories of laughter, joy, love surged inside her, remnants of everything that had been snuffed out by the dark. The creature faltered, its form flickering as if it were losing its grip on reality. Clara pressed forward, the warmth enveloping her, a protective cocoon against the darkness's grip. Before she knew it, she was digging into her own heart, pulling out pieces of her past to confront the horror. But the creature screamed in fury, the darkness writhing thickly around its form, hungry and desperate. Clara felt her strength waning, a weight of doubt creeping back in. Had she awakened a monster that was too powerful to defeat? Just then, Jonah's voice echoed, stronger this time. Clara, remember, a choice isn't just a past. It forges a future. Those words ignited something deep within her. With a fierce determination, she clasped her hands together, forming a makeshift shield against the upcoming blow. Together, we can break it. In a blinding surge, the light enveloped everything, a burst of energy blooming from Clara's very core. As the darkness wrapped around her, it shattered, scattering like ash in the wind, but the creature it roared in defiance, surging through the light, its features morphing into something even more sinister. Had it truly been vanquished? Or was it morphing into a new torment? Breathless, Clara stood at the edge of a precipice. Her choice would determine everything. Would she gather her strength for one final stand or let the remnants of darkness consume her? The air thickened, charged with tension, as Clara faced her final test. Would the shadows swallow her whole, or could she harness the light beyond a lingering hope? The answer loomed, heavy as the darkness around her. The battle raged onward. Clara's heart thudded louder than the growls of the creature, as she held her ground, battling against the swirl of despair that enveloped her. She felt the warmth of the light flickering, clashing against the darkness that sought to consume her. With every ounce of willpower, she envisioned Jonah and Lila, their smiles like a beacon in an unforgiving storm. I won't let you take them from me. The creature, momentarily dazed by her defiance, retracted slightly, its monstrous features twisting in confusion. Shadows writhed around it, almost alive, and Clara could feel the fear clawing at her insides, demanding she retreat. But she had come too far, she had faced too much. You don't own their memories, Clara yelled, her voice echoing like a rallying cry through the oppressive gloom. She concentrated harder, forcing her mind to gather fragments of joy from her past. Lila's laughter during the summer heat, Jonah's goofy dance moves in their cramped apartment. Each memory lit her fervor like fuels in a fire, and the air around her crackled with energy. But the creature, sensing its hold slipping, lunged at her again, a maelstrom of darkness rushing forward, claws outstretched. The chill hit her like a slap, icy fingers wrapping around her throat, squeezing the breath from her lungs. Clara gasped, instinctively raising her arms in a shield. No. No. She screamed, channeling raw emotion into her defense. With every ounce she had, she threw herself into the light. It blazed brighter, arching like a shield before her. The moment the creature collided with it, a thunderous shockwave erupted, reverberating through the space. Clara fell back, crashing against the ground, her vision spinning. Clara. Jonah's voice cut through the chaos like a knife. She blinked, the world steadying around her as she pushed herself back up, wincing with every motion. But the creature loomed larger than before, its form expanding, feeding on her fear. It huffed and growled, a cacophony of anger filling the void. Clara could see something else too, a flicker of recognition in its twisted eyes. Memories, her memories, entwined with the shadows, creating a grotesque mockery of what used to be. Then, in that horrible reflection, she grasped the truth. The creature was a piece of her soul, a fragment twisted by unresolved pain. Guilt surged inside her like poison, but she needed to face it, to confront the truth. Listen to me, Clara shouted, voice trembling. You were born from hurt, yes, but I won't let you control me anymore. You're not me. You're the past. The shadows writhed violently, but Clara pressed forward, determined. In that moment, she felt Jonah's warmth, Lila's laughter, and countless moments glinting with a brightness that wasn't extinguished, just buried deep within. With ferocity, she took a step towards the creature. You can break, or you can fight. I choose to break this cycle. As she screamed those words, the light around her broke open, sending waves pulsing through the room. The shadow snarled, slashing at the light, but it was faltering. Suddenly, a ripple tore through the creature, revealing a flicker of something familiar, a shimmering light deep within the maw of darkness. Was it hope? Could she pull that light free from the depths of despair? Clara's breath quickened as she reached out, pushing the shadows aside, conducting every thought of love and laughter from her memories into a single desire. I am more than my fear. But before she could seize that spark of hope, the creature lunged one final time, its scream a horrifying chorus of anguish. Just as the shadows threatened to pull her under, Clara felt a rush, a raw and undeniable surge of power, as if her whole being was sinking with that glimmer of light. Would she be able to pull it free? Or was she standing at a cliff's edge, ready to plunge into the darkness for good? The air crackled again, charged with finality, as her choice flashed before her like lightning. Would she accept that pain, or could she break free once and for all? Time slowed, stalling the inevitable clash as Clara held her breath, suspended on the brink of her decision. The moment hung, electrified with dread and hope. Clara felt the weight of the world on her shoulders, her breath shallow. It was as if every heartbeat screamed for her to decide to surge forward or retreat. The creature, though monstrous, bore her face twisted into a macabre reflection that clawed at her soul. "I am more," she shouted, her voice breaking through the lingering fear. Just as she allowed those words to flood her heart, she took a determined step towards the creature. And everything shifted. The light exploded from Clara with such brilliance it momentarily blinded her. She felt the shadows retreat as if stung by sunlight, recoiling from the vibrancy of her resolve. The creature swayed. For the first time, Clara could see the pained visage behind the darkness. Its eyes, filled with an anguish that echoed her own losses, narrowed in disbelief. "Let me go," Clara urged, the words bursting from her, laced with a mixture of compassion and fierce determination. "You were born from my pain, but I won't carry you anymore." The creature howled, a sound of desperation, but Clara held her ground, the light around her pulsing like a heartbeat. Unshackled by fear, she reached deep within herself, recalling every precious moment with Jonah and Lila. The warmth of genuine love radiated through her, filling the tension-filled space with an aching vulnerability. The creature faltered again, shadows thinned around its edges, revealing the faint outline of Clara's past, the laughter of her children, the warmth of their embrace, moments she cherished but had overshadowed by guilt. Clara felt an urge to touch it, to connect rather than fight. "You can be free, too. You don't need to haunt me." With a tremor of hope, she extended her hand. Visibly shaken, the creature paused, its form flickering like a faulty bulb, caught between existing and simply letting go. Her heart raced with every second, every heartbeat pulling her closer to the precipice of her emotions. Would the past absorb her completely, or could they transform together? Suddenly, something within the shadows pulsed with stubborn brightness. She could see it, the glimmer of that faintly shimmering light, the hope she had thought lost, now clawing its way through the darkness. Clara felt a rush of joy as she realized it wasn't just her past that needed healing, it was also the fragment of her soul that had been twisted in despair. The creature lunged, but Clara braced herself, pulling the love and laughter tightly around her. "I forgive you," she declared, the words spilling forth with a newfound strength. The creature froze, momentarily startled, releasing a low groan, the shadows swirling violently around it, yet now bathed in flickers of light. The air crackled, charged with unfathomable tension. Clara saw it then, a pathway opening between them, a bridge of illumination stretching from her heart to the creature's core. It stirred, confused yet drawn to the warmth, a reluctant repose creeping between their shared anguish, then a deafening silence enveloped the room. Just before Clara could grasp the significance of this moment, a sharp wind whipped through, pulling at her edges. The creature trembled violently, caught in the storm of light and shadow, and a painful scream pierced the air. "Clara!" Jonah's voice echoed again, amplifying the growing chaos. The crackling energy surged. Clara understood now. This was not just her battle, it was a confrontation of all who had come before her, a fight for recognition, healing, and release. But then she realized if she gave in to the light, would it swallow everything whole? Was the creature something inherently hers that couldn't be destroyed but could be transformed? Time crawled painfully, each second stretching, her heart racing. Clara's eyes were locked on the swirling shadows, anticipating both release and devastation. Would she break free, or would she be torn apart in the process? The decision loomed before her, monumental and daunting. One last step hovered in the air, and with it came the unbearable question, was it worth the sacrifice? Somewhere inside, Clara knew, but her hand trembled still, caught between love and pain, light and darkness. Clara locked her gaze on the creature, her heart throbbing in her chest. The air around them was electric, thick with the tension of unresolved pain and lingering shadows. The howl that escaped the creature felt both intimate and terrifying, a raw echo of emotions that had been festering for too long. "Stay with me," Clara whispered, almost as if she were pleading with a child. She recalled the times Lila had clung to her during storms, just needing to feel safe. The urge to protect surged within her again, only this time from the depths of her own suffering. A shiver ran down her spine. The creature stepped forward, its form warring with light and dark. Every flicker revealed memories she'd rather forget, the sound of Lila's laughter echoing through sunlit halls, Jonah's smile cradled in the warmth of their home, and the shadows that stretched upon her very soul when they were gone. "Let it go," Clara implored again, pulling strength from her love, the purest force she had left. The warmth enveloped her as if shielding her from the whirlpool of despair pulling her under. But deep inside, doubt tangled with hope. What if this bridge she built was only a ruse to keep her shackled to her own heartache? She hesitated, her breath hitching like a string about to snap. A sudden rush of wind spiraled through the space, rattling the cracks in the walls and icily whispering Clara's name. Clara, Clara, she could feel Jonah's essence surrounding her, a spark of warmth amidst the chaos. Was he trying to guide her? Still, the creature writhed, caught in limbo between love's light and the suffocating void of anger and sorrow. Shadows crackled violently around them, as if the very air was desperate to pull Clara back into a world of silence and erasure. "Just stop," Clara shouted, the determination in her voice shaking her core. "I can't lose you both." She felt her heartbeat sink with the pulsing light emanating from her. The creature paused, its eyes searching her face, reflecting back the deep vulnerability that settled like a fragile scale between them. With renewed conviction, Clara took a defiant step closer. Something had to change, and it had to begin with her. "I refuse to carry this blame." The words felt like thunderclaps in the oppressive silence. The creature's form distorted, lips curling into a snarl before their eyes met, and she saw something beyond rage, desperation for understanding, for release. Clara understood that this creature, twisted in agony, was still part of her. Its pain was hers, too. Clara extended her trembling hand again, the light morphing around them into brilliant hues of flame and steel. "I will not forgive you alone. We will forgive each other." Despite the fear clawing at her insides, she reached in closer, feeling the pulse of energy drawing them together, a silent pact that could change everything. Just as the connection was made, a blinding flash erupted, momentarily pulling Clara from the depths of despair. The moment vibrated with the intensity of a million whispered secrets and long-buried truths, but then, the earth shook beneath them, a violent tremor that sent both Clara and the creature sprawling backward. Shadows roared, needling up and around her like wildfire, devouring the light. Heart racing, Clara glanced up to see the cracks in the walls widening, swallowing the remnants of her surroundings. "Find me." Jonah's voice echoed once more. The plea clawed through the wreckage, pulling at Clara's spirit. Fear gripped her like icy tendrils. Would she be swallowed into the void with her regrets, or could they emerge together into something beautiful? It was no longer just a battle between light and dark, it was a fight for her very soul. In that cataclysmic moment, the answer struck like lightning. She could harness the storm, the light, everything she felt, if only she would let go of the past. But could she truly sever her ties to what she loved? As the shadows twisted, threatening to consume her, Clara felt a decision looming, one that would determine everything. Could she dare to trust that love would guide her through? The room began to spin, collapsing in on itself, and Clara braced for the storm to fully break. Suddenly, the world exploded into clarity. Clara's heart thundered a rhythm of resolve as she stood against the vortex of despair swirling around her. The shadows writhed like a living entity, desperate to reclaim their power. But she refused to let fear dictate her fate any longer. "I choose love," Clara shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos with fierce conviction. Light enveloped her, wrapping around her like a shield. The shadows shrieked and recoiled, though their leader, the creature that was her pain, took a step forward, its dark form pulsing with sinister energy. Lila. Jonah. I want to let you go. The words poured from her, filled with unyielding determination. Memories surged within her, vivid and alive, Lila laughing under a sun-drenched sky, Jonah's soft whispers of affection, the warmth of family wrapped around her. Each recollection swelled her courage, fueling a fire that burned bright against the darkness. The creature hesitated, shadows flickering, caught off guard by her defiance. Clara sensed a flicker of recognition in its eyes, a moment where pain metamorphosed into something softer, something closer to understanding. Seizing the opportunity, she reached her hand out, trembling but unwavering. You were born from love, just like me. You can transform. Clara cried, pouring every ounce of her spirit into those words. Shadows twisted violently, the creature faltering, yet still it fought. Its roaring screams reverberated, shaking the remnants of the world around them. But Clara stood firm, her heart pounding in harmony with the pulsing light surrounding her. With sheer willpower, she ignited the connections that bound her to Jonah and Lila, each heartstring a lifeline uniting their fates. We can be free, she shouted, imploring the shadows to listen, to ease their hold on her soul. You don't have to haunt me. I forgive you. The creature recoiled, caught in the crossfire between its anguish and her radiant love. Clara advanced, inching closer as warmth rushed through her veins. She felt Lila's laughter mingling with Jonah's fierce protectiveness. They were not lost, they were present, alive in her heart. Transform. She urged again, a fierce command flowing from her resolve, each syllable burning brightly against the enveloping darkness. The air trembled as shadows flickered and danced, the creature shifted, confusion swirling amid its rage. And then the stillness came, the charged quiet before the storm, and one bold act, Clara surged forward, embracing the creature, enveloping it in warm light that radiated from her heart. Instinctively, she grasped the flickering tendrils of darkness, drawing them closer, inviting healing to merge with her own pain. A moment stretched, eternal, both heart-wrenching and beautiful. Clara felt the layers of anguish peel away like the skin of an onion, revealing the core of longing and love beneath. As memories of Lila and Jonah poured forth, intertwining, the creature's form shimmered, light and darkness in a delicate balance. Clara did not flinch. Let go, she whispered, holding tight. Together, we can heal. Then came the explosion, a pulse of energy that cascaded through the air, rich with emotion. The creature shrieked, a sound so pure and filled with sorrow that it resonated within her own heart. Shadows blurred as it dissolved into streams of light, lifting the weight from Clara's chest. The darkness twisted and melted away, dropping her to the ground, gasping, but there, among the remnants of shadow, stood Jonah and Lila, ethereal but whole, familiar yet shimmering with a new light. Clara's chest tightened as she beheld them, tears spilling down her cheeks. Lila spoke softly, a warmth wrapping around her like a long-lost embrace. You did it. Jonah added, a proud smile on his face. You faced the darkness. Clara choked out a sob of relief, overwhelmed by love and the remnants of grief. They were free from the burden of pain, no longer ghosts. They glowed with a radiant vibrancy as the past finally faded into beautiful memories, no longer shackled by torment. In that sacred moment, reality stitched itself back together. The storm receded into a gentle breeze, carrying away the last echoes of darkness. Clara's heart swelled with the knowledge that love would always remain, transcendent, undeniable, just like the laughter and warmth of those she held dear. Thank you, Clara whispered, surrounded by a warm golden glow. She knew that with every end came a new beginning, that love could transform, heal, and conquer the deepest darkness. Epilogue. As Clara stood surrounded by the remnants of their story, she felt a relief that echoed through the very fabric of her being. The specters of Lila and Jonah lingered, their smiles everlasting, promising an eternal connection. They would forever reside in her heart. The shadows humbly bowed to the light, and as the light began to dim, Clara understood it was not the end. "I love you both," she murmured, relishing the moment. Together, they were something no shadows could extinguish, a bond entwined in a tapestry of hope and love, one that would resonate for eternity. Now, this is the moment for you to engage. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss any of the incredible stories coming next. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Your support is essential. And don't forget to flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this shocking conclusion. Finally, instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this emotional finale. Don't wait even one more second to share your passion for this channel. Your involvement makes all the difference, and only true fans understand how crucial it is to support us through these actions.